What is up, everybody? Welcome on into Alarm Fantasy Football. It is Tuesday, and we are here before you. Why? Because it's mid-August. It's time to get ramped up. During the season, we do shows basically every day, 1 o'clock. So leading in, we're going to start doing more shows. We got a lot to get in here. We got to get our best ball drafts in. Then we're going to switch over a little bit more towards the redraft stuff. So that's what we're doing today. We've done drafts, the big dog tournaments, with 800,000 people in it and $1 billion worth of prizes. We've done small drafts, 12 of us from the Fantasy Alarm doing a contained best ball draft. Today, we're jumping in and we're looking at a specific type of contest, one where the strategies are different than the big ones and from the small ones, a single entry contest. Okay, so today, $5 buy-in, $200K in prizes, only, there's still 47,000 spots in this contest. So it's
Could you bury in the lead and not announcing our partners here, huh? Come on, DraftKings, baby. We're doing best ball on DraftKings.
I figured people would know that.
No, you never figure people will know. This is where we are, people.
Tell everybody where we're playing and how they can play then.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. What is going on, everybody? We are live here on Alarm Fantasy Football doing a DraftKings best ball draft. Now, best ball over at DraftKings, you can do the big tourneys, absolutely. You could do standalone drafts as well. Look at that. Coop's flashing a little QR code that you can just click right in there. You can draft your $20 best ball lineup. Play for a share of $15 million. What we are playing in today is the 200K huddle best ball tournament. It is single entry. That's right. You got one shot. This is not a max enter kind of a thing. Well, it is sort of a max enter kind of thing, but this is what we've got going on here right now for DraftKings best ball. I want to say thank you very much to our folks and friends over at DraftKings for allowing Coop and I to do this. Zap that QR code. Get in on this one here. If you don't want to hit that QR code, go to fantasyalarm.com/DraftKings and use that promo code ALARM. That'll get you a little match deposit. It'll get you all sorts of action with our friends over at DraftKings. So we've jumped into this this single entry. Now, if you are watching us live here on YouTube or Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, this is the 200K huddle single entry. It's a $5 entry, and we're half filled right now. So Coop and I we could talk about certain things, certain risks and stuff like that you take, risks that you don't take, everything like that. So while we wait for this contest to fill, Coop, my man, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Happy to see everybody in the chat. Looks like everybody's popping. Again, we're now up to 8 of 12 in this contest. If you want to join and draft with us today, jump on in. It's right there. The 200K huddle, $5 entry, single entry. But we see you guys in the chat. Just want to say what up. Fatty's in the house. Charlene. We had a great time at the Expo, Bender. Everybody was missing you, man. Everybody was missing you. They understood that it's a long journey, but we need you there next year. And Dunn in the house. Jerry. Dynasty Dave, Ani Koopy here on a Tuesday. So good gang in the house today. And yes, we're doing a single entry. So for these, Howard, I got to admit, these are my favorites. I do pretty much all of them because with some of them, there's pressure to like max them out, right? It's like you want to get 100 entries into this one so you can give your best chance of winning the giant prize. These ones are the best because you go in, you do one, and then you're done. You're not allowed to draft another. And you don't feel the pressure as much to like get generational values on ADP. Like when I'm in the really big ones, if a player I hate falls by like a full round and a half, I still feel like I have to take that value. Like you need very special values and stuff in those really big ones. 880,000 people is the main event on DraftKings, which is like, it's insane, right? With this one, with less than 50,000 people in it, and I only get one shot and everybody only gets one shot, you have a license to go out and draft your guys. So I specifically am willing to reach a little bit more in these ones. I'm definitely going to focus on getting the guys that I like best because it's my one shot here, and there's nothing cooler than winning with your guys. So this is my favorite contest for that reason. You can be a little more creative, whereas like the big ones, you kind of have to get insanely lucky, and if you draft anyone ahead of ADP, you put yourself at a bad odds. So these are my favorite ones. I'm very excited. Hopefully this puppy fires soon.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm gonna blast
One
this
more
out
spot.
on Twitter right now for everybody, so that they can see exactly where we are, and we can jump right into this. I'm sure that 4 people have $5 in their pocket and they're ready
I
to
just
go.
I just refreshed. We're up to one spot. One more spot, and this thing's going to kick off.
See?
So excellent. It's a 30-second clock, right? Full PPR over here at DraftKings, which we obviously love. 200K prize pool. I'm not sure what the top prize is for this one. Let me take a little peek. A little peek-see at the rules and the contest.
Oh, there's no time, Coop. It's time to share.
Oh, there
It's
we
time to
go.
go. Here we are. Draft starts in 1 minute, 50 seconds. We thank everybody for joining us here in this draft. If you are watching along here, Coop and I, we're going to talk, our picks, strategy, which way we want to go. Like Coop was said, different strategies for the whole thing. I think the question on everybody's mind right now, Andrew, is where are they taking Bill Krosky Merritt? Don't call him Jacory, everybody. Adam Schefter had a little tweet out there yesterday that apparently he wants to say that his name is Bill, or he's going by Bill. I'm not really sure why you want to do that. Bill Krosky Merritt kind of sounds like Bill Cosby Merritt. Maybe he delivers that knockout punch to everybody in their fantasy leagues, but whatever the call is, it's Bill. And now the question is, Coop, we were talking about this before. Where do you put this guy if he takes that job?
I mean, that's the thing is I wasn't super high on Brian Robinson in general. I think that maybe I'll put him slightly ahead of Brian Robinson because if the hype is real and they believe this guy is like a super duper mega star and should be ahead of and he's just flat out better, and that's why they're going to trade Brian Robinson, then maybe we put him slightly ahead. But with this team, you still have Jaden Daniels, who is going to take a bunch of those goal line carries. Last year was split down the middle. I pulled it up, essentially split down the middle between Brian Robinson and Jaden Daniels inside the 5-yard line. Not to mention they still have Austin Eckler. I think the one thing you got to keep in mind, right, is that the running back coach is the one who decides who's in the game on any given play. And the running back coach for this team just so happens to be really, really good friends with Austin Eckler. Anthony Lynn and Austin Eckler have gone back to their days with the Chargers. The reason Eckler is with the team at all is because Anthony Lynn, his former head coach, is there. Like, he's still going to play a decent amount. It's still going to be a split to some degree. So I'm not getting way over my skis. But
yeah, you can't get over your skis here too much because even Eckler said he's not an every down back. He says he is a pass catcher. He's not a between the tackles guy.
Yeah. So for me, I still look at it and say, you know what? In that range where guys like Tony Pollard and these guys go, I will lean into the exciting new thing. You know what I mean? So I think you're not going to move them all the way up to like 3rd, 4th, 5th round where, a guy like a Marion Hampton that was drafted in the 1st round to potentially start for the Chargers. Like, you're not going to move them up to where like Travion Henderson, those guys are, but it's definitely a name that you have to know. And it's going to be, he's going to go in a meaningful spot in your draft as long as one person is paying attention. So I think, if Brian Robinson gets traded, then I think you really do got to move him up to around like 7, 8 or so.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking at it right now. I'm in the process of taking our fantasy alarm cheat sheet, and I'm making a super flex grid to add into it because everybody keeps asking me about a super flex grid, and I'm doing that. And so yeah, I'm like sitting here I'm refreshing the news like every 10 minutes. Is Brian Robinson getting traded? Is he getting traded? Because I want to know exactly where I'm moving Bill Krosky Merritt up to. Right now, I think I have Brian Robinson late 7th, early 8th. And so, yeah, I mean, if he does get dealt, do I put Krosky Merritt up that high? Do I not? So these are things that we're going to be discussing. I love picking on the wheel, by the way, in this draft. I love the fact that I'm on the wheel right now. This excites me.
Yeah, we'll be excited to see who you get. Looks like the running backs are going hot and heavy here.
Crazy, right? I love that.
It's setting you up, man. It's setting you up for the old wide receiver double tap.
Switcheroo.
I know you're not super high on Devon Achane, and he's probably the next best available here. He's obviously a little bit better in a full PPR format. We got to give him credit for that 87 targets last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what you do here. I went CeeDee Lamb, chalk pick for me. Honestly, in something like this, if I was picking second and Chase goes one, I oftentimes take Lamb at two. Like he's my wide receiver two this year for sure. I like JJ McCarthy a lot, but he's just such an
Ooh.
unknown that I do worry a little bit about Jefferson and what it's going to look like.
All
It's
right. So
we'll
here I
see.
am now. Now the question is I want targets, 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 targets. So Malik Neighbors is definitely the target monster over there, and I want to grab him. Now the question is do I want all the targets for Amon-Ra St. Brown with his shrinking violet of an A dot right now, or do I go for Brian Thomas? Do I go for the big play upside? Do I go for the fun stuff there? And I'll tell you what, Coop, I like fun.
Yeah.
I like Brian Thomas Jr. here. Going to pair him up with Malik Neighbors. That is an explosive 1-2 wide receiver punch. Explosive.
Yeah, I love it. And again, if this was like just a regular 12 team PPR league, maybe you take Amon-Ra St. Brown here, but you still got to beat 47,000 other people, right? So you got to give yourself the best shot at upside, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously awesome, but Laporte is there. Jameson Williams getting a ton of hype this year on what his upside could be. And this team, the defense is getting better. As we've seen with a number of these teams, like the Kansas City Chiefs, for instance, when your back is against the ropes, a guy like Patrick Mahomes goes out, those 50 touchdown passes. Once the defense gets a little better, the run game gets a little better, that team cruised to 15-1 record, and then basically didn't have to play the last game of the year. The Lions are in my opinion, kind of getting there. We're like, hey, they spent so much on the defense. The offense is already a well-oiled machine. They run the ball well. I don't know if they have to go out and throw a ton of passes this year. It's like the Eagles last year. They just didn't have to. They didn't have to throw. It's same thing with JJ McCarthy in college. People keep saying like that, that they're like, well, why didn't he have better college stats? Well, the team went undefeated. It's like, what did you want them to go more undefeated? Did you want him to go to Jim Harbaugh and say, hey, do you mind if I pad my stats a little bit? Can you imagine that? So it's like, I want teams that are going to be letting the ball fly. And that's a perfect spot for you with Brian Thomas Jr. here because we don't know what Travis Hunter's
You
going
know
to do.
you're on the clock, dude. 15 seconds.
Yeah, this game's easy. My pick was already in. Devon Achane. This is a format where I will take him. Guy last year. So, okay, here's why I like Devon Achane specifically in PPR. There are some concerns about a split backfield or maybe somebody like Ollie Gordon or Jalen Wright taking some of the goal line work. This guy last year played more slot snaps, ran more routes from the slot than any running back since David Johnson in 2016. That's how he got to 87 targets. So for a guy like this, I kind of put him in that same category where we had Austin Eckler for all these years and where we had Alvin Kamara for all these years. I don't care if he has 1,000 rushing yards. Alvin Kamara has never had 1,000 rushing yards, but he's had a RB1 overall season. This guy's explosive. This team's going to have to throw. He's basically their slot wide receiver. They use all sorts of crazy motion to move him around. And again, it's best ball. I don't really care about the down weeks. Health, that's a question. But to get him in the second round where I did, along with CeeDee Lamb, easy one for me in full PPR.
All right. Well, you're on the clock again here. You got Lamb, you got Achane. Talk us through it.
I was really hoping that AJ Brown would sneak back around to me. So I could go with the safe but boring picks of T. Higgins and Kyron Williams, or I could go with the upside picks of Tyreek Hill and Jackson Smith and Jigba. In this particular instance, I am just going to take T. Higgins. I think that he has plenty good enough upside here. I'm getting him beyond his ADP. And we always, T. Higgins has been the one that's been banged up. And when he gets banged up, Jamar Chase goes out and has crazy games. We just like with David Montgomery, we kind of forget about the possibility of the other guy getting hurt. What happens if, we always say, if David Montgomery gets hurt, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to set the league on fire. No one ever says, well, if Jahmyr Gibbs gets hurt, then David Montgomery is going to be awesome. And same thing with T. Higgins. It's like, what happens if Jamar Chase goes down? Now T. Higgins is a guy that's going to get 15 targets a game. T. Higgins last year was the best ball winning pick. He had 3 touchdowns in the final week of the year, and pretty much everybody that had T. Higgins won a ton of money. So I have no problem taking T. Higgins in the third round, especially because he typically goes a little closer to that swing over.
Well, it's creeping over to me here right now towards the back end of the draft. I'm very curious to see what's going to be available to me with these next two picks. I love having Neighbors and Brian Thomas there. It's explosive. It's target oriented. I'm very curious to see what these guys end up leaving me. Kenneth Walker, the third, that comes off the board right now. You know that was a favorite of mine. You know I was definitely eyeballing him. So whoever C Spills is, you got your guy. So here you go. I've got back-to-back picks here. I've got explosive target monsters in Neighbors and Brian Thomas. I see the way this room is treating running back. So I'm going to definitely have to jump into this fray. And I'll tell you what, I really like what they're giving me here. I love Breece Hall and I love Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard, I've said this over and over again about people. Dave Canales loves using one running back. If one more person talks to me about Rico Dowdle stealing touches, please. The Cowboys let Rico Dowdle walk so that they could sign Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. If Rico Dowdle was worth anything, the Cowboys would have kept him. So Canales goes with one running back. That's Chuba Hubbard. Last year, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. If I'm getting that in the fourth round, I'm absolutely loving it. And as far as Breece Hall goes, listen, contract year, team's going to work him. I'm not worried about Justin Fields poaching a bunch of touchdowns, and I'm certainly not worried about Braylon Allen. Will they get Braylon Allen involved in the offense to keep him active? Yes, but this is still going to be Breece Hall's backfield. So, dude, I'm telling you right now, I've got this tournament locked in with my first four picks.
I don't know why. The Breece Hall, I've been getting Breece Hall at where you got him here, which is a great value in a ton of drafts recently. I don't know why people are completely out on him. I also don't know why people are completely out, it seems, on Tyreek Hill here. I think I'm just going to take him. His ADP is
getting a little Dolphin stacky, huh?
Dude, I was kind of avoiding it last round, but this guy's ADP, here's the thing about this is still a pretty big tournament. It's not as big as the massive ones. It's single entry only, but this guy's ADP is pick 30. I just got him at pick 45. So unless there's something in the news that I missed, and I don't think there is because I'm usually pretty plugged in on that stuff, I'll Google his name now just to double check. But unless there's something going on, it seems like everybody just kind of decided they didn't want the risk of this player. This is a 40,000 person tournament. I'll absolutely take that risk. Give me Tyreek Hill a full round, 15 picks after ADP. I almost took him last round. I sat there and I said, do I want to go safety with D Higgins or upside with Tyreek Hill? Guess what? I got it all. Now I got the safety and the upside. So let's go crazy. Let's get
just wild. As a reminder to everybody, this is a DraftKings best ball tournament, single entry, $5 entry fee here for a big old jamunkum prize there. We're very excited about that. The positions, it's only a single QB and there's no tight end premium. There's nothing else on there. No defenses, no kickers, one quarterback, two running backs. We've got three wide receivers that we're starting. We've got the tight end and one flex position. Everybody else, we're going 20 rounds. Everybody else is a bench player.
Decision point right here. Do I stack T. Higgins with Joe Burrow, or do I take the value on Garrett Wilson, a guy I have not been drafting much of? I'm going to take the value. I'm going to take the value. I mean, what's going on here, man? We're talking about two guys here. So I just got Tyreek Hill, ADP 30 at pick 45.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Wilson's ADP is 33. I just got him at pick 52. I'm just going to take the value on these type guys. And again, Garrett Wilson's a guy that I haven't been super high on, but the picture that you've painted, Bender, is absolutely within the range of outcomes. Justin Fields, let's say he goes out and just does what he's done in the past, which obviously the Jets are expecting him to do a little more. But let's say he does what he does in the past. 2,500 yards. That's kind of where Vegas has this guy set. If he goes out and does that, that's the exact amount of pass yards he had the year DJ Moore was wide receiver 7 overall, right? As long as they're hyper focused on one guy, then it doesn't really matter. And they don't really have anybody else. It's we have hopes for Mason Taylor. Sure, we've seen Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds do a little something at times. People like Malachi Corley still, even though he didn't really do much last year, but there's one show in town. So I'll absolutely take that pick, especially when I'm getting crazy value on it. Wild.
Yeah.
What are you thinking here, buddy?
You know what? I'm thinking here. I just did this. I was picking first in another best ball. I think I'm just going to do the exact same thing in this exact same spot. The exact same thing in the exact same spot.
There it is.
Give me a little Mahomes, Kelsey. I know somebody took Rashee Rice a little earlier there in the round, but that's okay. I don't need to do the full stack or worry about when Rashee Rice does get suspended. But Mahomes, Kelsey, listen, I'm a believer in the tandem. I really am. I'm a believer in things that I'm hearing out of Kansas City, that they want to throw the ball more, that they want to, take deeper shots downfield, that Kelsey is much more hyper-focused this year than he was last year. He even admitted to being distracted last year. I think he wants this season to be his last and to be his most explosive, right? So I'm going to go with that kind of hype there because I can and I will. Because people want to sit there and dog Mahomes. Go ahead, dog Mahomes. All this guy does is win and play well.
Right. When Mahomes comes out and throws 45 touchdown passes and Kelsey catches 12 of them, we're going to look back and be like, oh, yeah, I forgot that could happen. Right? Oh, yeah, that's totally that's not even crazy. That's actually not even the best season for those guys, so it could entirely happen. A couple questions in the chat here. Kyle is asking, do we keep Josh Allen or Derrick Henry in a keeper league? Let us know if there's any rounds attached to that, but I would definitely keep Derrick Henry over Josh Allen unless it's super flex. If it's super flex, you keep Allen. If it's not, you keep Henry. But if there's any sort of penalty or rounds attached to that, let us know. Okay, here we go. 1 in 3. Henry 1, Allen 3. Yeah, I mean, you're not really getting any value there on either guy.
On either guy.
I would probably keep if I had to keep one, I'd keep Allen in the third. But let us know what other options you might have because that's just basically ADP for those guys. You're not.
That's even money, man. You don't have any kind of bargains whatsoever where you can find a 10th or an 11th round guy who's in there. That's definitely also, Kyle, if you know what your draft position is, that also helps the conversation along as well.
For sure.
Sometimes if you're sitting there, if you're picking 12th in a 12-teamer, well, then Henry in the first round makes sense for you. But, we're looking for some value.
You're right. Any earlier, if you're picking in the first half, then Allen in the third definitely is going to make a lot more sense. They're saying I'm living dangerously here with HN. I am. I know I am. I mean, I said I was going to draft my guys. I wasn't going to take the values and play it that way. I'm doing the opposite. Pretty much the exact opposite of what I said I was going to do. But I mean, I just can't pass up on these values. And somebody in the chat also is asking, did I consider Burrow with Higgins? I absolutely did. I said it live on the show. If the person before me had taken Garrett Wilson, I would have taken Joe Burrow because he not only would have been a good stack for me, but he would also have been the top guy at the queue, right? So I would have got him around ADP, but I couldn't pass on 2 rounds of value on Garrett Wilson, essentially, a round and a half. It's 33 minus 52, that's literally almost 2 full rounds of value. So I had to take the value there, and now I'm back up on the clock. Do I get crazy with some rookie action here, or do I keep it in tight with a running back? I'm going to keep going crazy. Travis Hunter.
Crazy. Why not?
You never know.
Oh, see? Well, I don't get to do my Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. stack with a little Trevor Lawrence as my backup QB.
No super stacks today. The other option would have been Tony Pollard. It's just, you know what? I'll be fine. I'll figure that out later. The thing about not taking T. Higgins there is that I have plenty of stack options available to me as of this moment. Unless things go crazy right now at the quarterback position, I know the guy before me very rudely took Dak Prescott so that I couldn't get him. He had George Pickens, I had CeeDee Lamb, so he did what he had to do. But I can still take Justin Fields, I can still take Tua, I can still take Trevor Lawrence now. You don't have to stack. Yeah, I hope people understand that it's not a requirement. Last year, some of the guys that won major contests did so just by having Jaden Daniels. And in the final week of the year, Terry McLaurin had 1 catch for 7 yards. He was not even in your lineup. Naked Jaden Daniels was an absolutely fine play last year. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all these mobile quarterbacks, you don't actually have to stack them up to hit big weeks. That's the beauty of those mobile guys. So I'm not going to let big fantasy force me into stacking my quarterback up unless it's there at value. And as of now, it hasn't been yet. So there you go. There you have it.
There you have it. All right. Well, So here we go. This is the interesting spot, Coop. This is what we were kind of talking about here, and now I'm going to have to, say, do I make the move? Do I not make the move? I said eighth round, roughly, is where I have Brian Robinson Jr. Now, do I genuinely believe that they're going to trade Brian Robinson Jr.? I'm going to take that chance right here, right now, and I'm taking Bill Krosky Merritt
There
in
it
the
is.
eighth round where I said he belongs, and I'm just going to make that move. I'm going to assume that Washington trades Brian Robinson. It's a risk, and it's not something that I wholeheartedly recommend at this point right now, but this is a tournament. Might as well take a shot.
Yeah, especially in these big tournaments, man, it's like you just got to give yourself a shot of upside because here's the thing about these hype guys. If Brian Robinson does get traded, he's not going to fall in the eighth round. He's not going to fall where we just say we're going to rank him. People are going to get so froggy. He's going to be going up probably ahead of guys like Isaiah Pacheco and David Montgomery. Like people see the safe but boring guys and they just go crazy for these younger guys. I mean, you see it right now. RJ Harvey never played a snap, not even guaranteed to start for the Broncos. I like the pick, but like there's a real possibility that this guy just ends up playing like a rookie and is a kind of a part-time guy. So you're going to see it go crazy. This is probably the last time you're going to get him around where you did. I was hoping that he or Tyrone Tracy fell to me here because this is my favorite format for Tyrone Tracy, a little pass catching,
Sure,
full
sure.
PPR type format. I'm going to need to figure out running back at some point, but
All right.
I'm
Well,
worried about it.
let me ask you a question, Coop. As far as like possible destinations for Brian Robinson that kind of makes sense. Jim Bowden was obviously hyping the Cowboys as a definite location, but I couldn't see Washington trading him inside the division. My thought possibly was, wouldn't he be a great pairing with DeAndre Swift in Chicago, like playing that Montgomery role? Something to think about there. But I'll let you make your pick.
I'm going to make my pick here. And boy, do I dislike a number of the players available. There are two guys I like. I'm taking one of them here in Cooper Kupp. I just think it's a super highly consolidated scheme. He could be hurt, he could be washed. The Rams moved on from him because of the injuries, but if he comes back and he's healthy, and the Seahawks win their bet here, where they paid him a lot of money, he basically got paid the same amount of money Devontae Adams got paid to replace him. This is a team that uses the fullback, uses the blocking tight end, highly consolidated among the top two targets. The full PPR, best format for this guy. So, but back to your Bill Krosky Merritt question. The problem that you run into is that the situations where there are opportunity are not necessarily teams that we love. That's why it's like the Cowboys are kind of the best one because we think it's at least going to be a good offense. But I don't know. Jerry seems to think that he can just piece it together with whatever. The other one that John and Pemba threw out that I really think is interesting, and I'm not sure if you just mentioned it because I was making my pick, but the Chicago Bears. Have you thought about?
It's exactly what I just said.
Okay, you
The
were saying
Bears,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
as that in that David Montgomery role.
Yeah, the David Montgomery role. Okay, so we're thinking similar logic here on that front. So yeah, I think that would be the perfect use of his skill set in the best NFL landing spot. Might not be the best for fantasy football, but at least he would potentially get a starting gig there. And we've seen what David Montgomery did in that role. So yeah, I think that's a good fit as well. The other spot I want him to go is just pick all the players that I don't like and I'm not drafting and put him on that team because I'm not drafting Brian Robinson Jr. either. So yeah, put him on like the Titans and then just have a three-headed monster
Oh
team where I don't know what to
no.
do with any
you
of them.
gotta let him retain some fantasy value.
No, I don't. No, I want him to ruin the fantasy value of other players I don't like. Put him on the Texans, right? And just put him into one of those like, Mr. Krabs swirl teams where it's just a nightmare and just make it even worse. That should be with like the Jaguars, dude. It would be a full meltdown.
Oh, if he landed with the Jaguars, that would be a full meltdown. People would go bonkers.
I mean, it would be. I mean, I would be in big. I have so much Tank Bigsby that would be terrible. So I did get my quarterback here. I flirted with the idea of taking Mark Andrews, didn't take him, and then of course what happens? The same guy that took Dak Prescott right before me takes Mark Andrews right before me. He doesn't even have Lamar Jackson. I don't know why the Lamar Jackson guy didn't take Mark Andrews. That's what I mentally had just expected, but he took Rashad Bateman instead, which is to me bonkers. Why would you not take the positional scarcity? Those guys had virtually this. Mark Andrews was better than Rashad Bateman last year in fantasy football. I don't see why he wouldn't take the positional scarcity with tight end. Does that make any sense to you, Howard?
No, but you know what? There's a lot of things that people do out there that don't really make a whole lot of sense to me, when drafting. So, like that's the beautiful thing. That's the beauty of this. And that's why so many people do so many entries in so many best ball formats, because, you can't go into it. I'm not even talking about max entering contests, but I'm probably, I'm pushing like 80 to 90 best ball leagues at this point in time right now, right? If I sat there using the exact same philosophy every single time, the exact same draft strategy every single time, even if I kind of mixed it up with like beginning of the draft, middle of the draft, end of the draft, you're not giving yourself a genuine opportunity. I mean, I like my core guys, and I'll keep going back to them. I just drafted Keon Coleman here in the 10th round, and I'll tell you what I love about Keon Coleman is that he is the type of receiver. He's not the type of receiver that Joe Brady normally uses, and Joe Brady's got all of these interchangeable cogs. I got one field stretcher in Keon Coleman, the one guy who does something different in that offense. That's something I kind of want to take a little chance with, right? Yeah. So I'll have my core guys, but you got to mix up a ton of other stuff. And if everybody keeps looking at you thinking, well, they're going to, you're looking to stack, then all of a sudden, people are going to start screwing around with your methodology.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the Keon Coleman play, I mean, that's the thing. You need high risk, high reward guys in this format. I also, as folks know, I love the Michael Pittman pick. I had an article come out this week, if you guys have not checked it out, Fantasy Football Fallacies, right? And in that, I kind of break down, some things like straw man, ad hominem attacks, all the fallacies that we see in the fantasy community, both logically and kind of people attacking each other on Twitter. With Michael Pittman, there's a very specific fallacy that's lowering his value in his ADP, and that's called false choice. Right? It's the false choice dilemma, is what they call it. And basically, what's happening with him is people sit back and they say, you have to like either Josh Downs or Michael Pittman. If you like one, you can't like the other. And the fallacy there is that it's this choice that you have to make. But in reality, in fantasy football, you don't have to draft either. One can be good with the other being bad, or they could both be good, or they could both be bad. Right? It's not this thing where it's black and white. You have to pick one or the other. But people think that way, and all of a sudden the ADPs for both of them start coming down. Oh, I can never take Michael Pittman when Josh Downs is on the board. I can never take Downs when Pittman's on the board. People start thinking that way, and they both come down. There's a real world where both these guys are good, or Michael Pittman's just good, or Josh Downs is just good. But for me, I love the idea that that's happening, and the values are being suppressed for these players, because Michael Pittman could come out and just go right back to being a guy that gets 140 or 150 targets from Daniel Jones. I mean, he was the wide receiver 13 with Gardner Minshew, right? Like, why can't Daniel Jones support him in the role that he's been? He's the captain of the team. He's supposedly healthy. The fallacies that are lowering the values on some of these guys, we can absolutely take advantage of. So definitely check out that article if you haven't. I've been working on that one all summer. Howard allows me one what do you say, artistic article of the year, right? One of those, special ones, and then we get back into what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants. My next article is going to be the undrafted free agent and late round wide receivers names you need to know, right? That's the stuff that people are asking for. But this one is very special to me, so everyone check that one out. It's on my Twitter right now.
So I'm doing something a little crazy here. I'm going to double tap the QB position. I start seeing everybody who's, some people are getting their third QB. Some people are just getting their second QB. This seems to be that general spot when you're looking in a lot of best ball drafts, right? Rounds 10, 11, 12, people start grabbing those backup QBs. And the fact that I'm sitting here on the end, on the wheel, makes me want to just kind of double tap the quarterback position and not worry about it. I pair up Trevor Lawrence with Brian Thomas Jr. I'm very bullish on the work that Liam Cohen does with quarterbacks. So I'm very bullish on what we're going to see out of the passing attack here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then I just grabbed CJ Stroud as my third QB. I know that the order of the two of them right there, that's the way that the ADP was here on DraftKings. But CJ Stroud, I mean, listen, they're giving him complete autonomy at the line. Nick Caley, the new offensive coordinator, says that he wants CJ Stroud reading the defenses. He wants CJ Stroud with the ball in his hands. Obviously, they've got concerns with the way their backfield is all banged up. Joe Mixon and who else is behind him? Right now, it looks like maybe Woody Marks. So Stroud in a potential pass-heavy scheme over there. Lawrence as my 2-3 in quarterbacks. I feel very confident there. I can now spend the rest of my draft running back, wide receiver, tight end. Bip, bap, boom.
I love it. I did the same thing the round before. I took Kyler Murray as my mobile QB, and then I looked at what was available. I have Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields sitting right there. I went a little bit riskier than you with my guys here, but we're playing to win. You know, somebody else did the same thing with Bo Nix and Drake May there, so love to see that. The other pick that I took here, I got to say, I know you might be out. I know you might be leaving his love behind, but I am still in on Dalton Kincaid. This guy checks a lot of the boxes that we look for. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was top 12 last year in targets versus man-to-man, top 12 in screens, top 12 in yak per reception, top 12 in wide receiver route participation for tight ends, top 12 in yards per route run. I mean, like literally all the metrics you look for, some of those are counting stats, like screens, forced missed tackles, he was top 12 in. I mean, like it's all there if he can just carve out a bigger role. He went out, he bulked up a little bit, as the GM has already mentioned. Brandon Beane already said that. We asked the guy to bulk up, he did. So hopefully he can carve out a bigger role, play more snaps. A high ankle sprain for Khalil Shakir definitely helps a little bit in terms of getting some slot snaps. So I'm willing to give this guy one more shot. If he can't capitalize in that wide receiver room with that quarterback and his draft capital this year, then it's probably over. But I'm willing to ride the lightning one last time with Dalton Kincaid.
All right, ride that lightning, baby. That's totally cool. As a reminder to everybody, if you're just joining us, Andrew Cooper and I, we're doing a live draft, best ball draft here on DraftKings. We are in the NFL Best Ball $200,000 huddle. It's a single entry tournament. There's going to be about 47 to 48,000 entries in this one. So we are going for a little bit of upside. Zap that QR code right there. Or if you don't hit the QR code, do yourself a favor, go to fantasyalarm.com/DraftKings. When you sign up and deposit, use that promo code ALARM. I think they'll give you a little match deposit over there. I don't think they're running that second ticket to play right now for their best ball $15 million contest that it says on the screen, but we can obviously confirm that. We've got all of our deals. If you go to fantasyalarm.com/offers, everything, every current deal that we have, especially here on DraftKings, completely listed for everybody's needs. So we appreciate you guys tuning in here. Get on over to DraftKings, jump into these best ball tournaments. You won't be disappointed.
Boom. And I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite contests. This type of contest, definitely, this is a single entry contest. So it's not like, you have to put in 20 teams, 40 teams, 50 teams to like really give yourself the best shot of upside. Everybody gets one, no matter how much of a high stakes guy you are. Our guy, Brandon Fox, that does literally 3,000 best ball drafts a year. Like he only gets one entry in this contest. So it really is one of those ones where you can get your guy. You can try and do things creative. You can do whatever you want with this because it's your one entry. And if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. So I'm definitely getting my guys. Got my guy Kyler Murray. Got Dalton Kincaid here. I started off this draft, for those that missed the beginning, with a bit of a hero RB type play here. I went CeeDee Lamb, Devon Achane, and then 3 straight wide receivers. I had to take the value on Higgins, Tyreek Hill, and Garrett Wilson. I took a safe RB2 in David Montgomery. Now what I'm doing is I got one more player I believe is safe in Ramondre Stevenson. And from here on out, it will only be upside plays for me at running back. Obviously, I'm still going to take another tight end. I'm not going to rule out taking another quarterback. But at some point, I got to give myself another shot at hitting a RB2. I took my first play here in Trey Benson. Trey Benson is a guy that was drafted one of the earliest backs in his class, number 2 off the board. He landed behind James Conner that people have been saying is getting up there and he's injury prone. He just keeps on chugging through. Last year, he did make it until week 17 before he got hurt, but he's gotten hurt in every single year of his career. At every single year of his career, he's missed at least one game. And reports are now that Trey Benson is looking great. He's working out with James Conner. They both lift the same amount, which is crazy if you've ever seen what James Conner looks like. I mean, he looks like a superhero when he flexes his back, right? Like this guy's a monster. And I'll tell you, James Conner himself came out and said that he expects Trey Benson to take a step forward to get more touches this year, right? Coaches always want to push back on this idea that there's not a competition anymore, that it's going to be split backfield. So, they're not going to come out and tell you that in most cases. But both Trey Benson and James Conner have come out and said, hey, you know what? I think that this kid's ready for more work. We want to have the best rushing attack in the league, and having two backs that can handle the ball can do it. So I could have basically a guy like Zach Charbonnet who has upside on a standalone basis and also contingent upside if James Conner gets hurt. So Trey Benson, to me, a pick that makes a ton of sense here in the 13th round.
It definitely does. It definitely does. Well, what are you thinking now for round 14? Because the guy in front of you has got about 15 seconds to go.
Panicking.
Are you?
No, I'm doing fine. The thing is, there's guys here that I do like. I might take one more wide receiver here. I might take one more wide receiver here and then circle back on running back. The running backs in this range are guys I would take if I was going for more of like a safer play. Guys like Rashad White. Rashad White, say what you will. Like Howard, you called out him kind of losing his starting job last year. Which was a great call, but he still got to 1,000 yards from scrimmage. If I needed more boring-ish kind of players, I would take a guy like him or somebody like Jerome Ford here. Tyler Algier, another guy where he really, 800 yards from scrimmage last year as a second back, really needs an injury to Bijan to be anything. Not necessarily exciting for me. So I took Kyle Williams, a rookie for a team that is kind of wide open after Stephon Diggs. So we'll see what can happen there. I'm going to take my second tight end here, unless the person right before me is reading my mind and reaching by a little bit for my guy here. I didn't want to say his name out loud just in case this guy's lurking around on the YouTubes. Okay, good. I'm going to go with Chigakonkwo here. I'll tell you what.
Your boy.
My boy Chigakonkwo. And here's why I really like him in best ball. Is that best ball kind of washes away some of the sins of players that are kind of touchdown dependent or big play dependent. Chigakonkwo runs a 4.52 40. That is 95th percentile for the position. It's the same 40 time that George Kittle runs, right? And George Kittle is notorious for having a lot of big plays. He has 18 plays of 40-plus yards in his career. He's one of the only tight ends in the league that has had more than one 40-plus yard play. In fact, there are 3 tight ends over the last 5 years that have had 3 plays of 40-plus yards or more. George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, and Chigakonkwo. This is a guy that can break off big plays. And now he's in an offense where we don't know who the second target is after Calvin Ridley. And Cam Ward is not only a gunslinger, but he loved throwing it to his tight end, Elijah Arroyo, when they were at Miami. So Chigakonkwo steps in as that kind of like big slot, wing T type tight end that lines up just off the line at tackle. Could easily be one of the favorite targets for the rookie quarterback. So love that pick here. Gives me 2 tight ends. And I'll tell you what, Bender, we ain't done at tight end. Not yet. One more, I think. I think I'm going 3 tight end build here.
I was kind of looking at debating whether or not to do the 3 tight end build. I'm pretty confident in having Kelsey and Henry as my 2 guys as they kind of roll through. I'm kind of looking at, where else I want to go, wide receivers and running backs in this range. There's not a lot of great stuff happening out there, but there could be a play here because I've definitely got questions. I'm on the clock here. I have a hard time letting Najee Harris go at this point in the draft.
I considered him. Because if I'm going to take Ramondre Stevenson.
It's 15th round. I have to do it.
Yeah. If I'm going to take Ramondre Stevenson, like the bet on Stevenson and Najee Harris is the same. And I love that you're getting this value because I took Ramondre like rounds ago and I considered Najee Harris there. It's like, why can't he be the starting running back for the team, right, Howard?
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, I mean, they paid him $9.5 million. They guaranteed 5. He's got the eye issue. Yes, okay, fine. But you know what? That's not a leg. It's not a knee. It's not a shoulder. So when he heals, because he's doing activities right now, right? They got him out of the weighted blanket, which was nice. Now they've actually got him like actually doing drills. So it's going to be slow and steady, but I'm sorry, but you're not going to tell me that Harbaugh and Roman aren't going to mix in a guy who they're paying $5 million to, who they targeted in the offseason, even before they drafted Omari and Hampton. So I feel like the opportunity's there. And for Najee in the 15th round, I just think that puts him in a spot where you need to do it. I need to.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I would have definitely taken it if you made it back to me. A little news for you guys if you haven't seen it. He just came off the board. If the Emeka Egbuka hype train had not gotten high and fast enough for you, Bender, now on top of Chris Godwin being banged up, Jalen McMillan, they've announced that he has a neck injury, and they've already said they expect him to miss some time to start the season. So that, I mean, at the very least, even if let's say Godwin comes back and he's healthy and he's ready to go, that still would put this guy in 3 wide receiver sets because McMillan's out. So, yeah. I mean, the stars are aligning for Emeka Egbuka like never before. This is a guy who I had people, reaching out to me when they were doing their rookie drafts, asking me if my Emeka Egbuka ranking was serious and if they should take him at 5 or 6 where I had him ranked. And we were very high on this guy in Dynasty. The only thing we were worried about was the situation for redraft, but now that's starting to come together too. So, I mean, Dynasty, it might be impossible to get him, but if you still can, I would try and get your hands on this guy. Best comparable player for him was Chris Godwin before the draft, landed in a spot where when Chris Godwin's out, it's going to be wheels up. But I mean, it's starting to look like this guy can make an impact right away now all of a sudden. So the hype train has left the station. I'm still trying. I wish that's one where I wish I grabbed some more earlier because I believed in the talent, but I was worried about the situation, and I'm still a little worried about the situation. If Godwin and Evans are there, it still could be thin, but I mean, it's hard not to get excited.
Oh, I can definitely agree with that statement. It's definitely easy to get excited and kind of pumped up about it when you start seeing. Listen, I kind of turned around. After enough times where Todd Bowles and Jeremy Lick, the GM, the constant, he's Godwin's right on schedule. Godwin is exactly where he is supposed to be. Godwin is where he needs to be. Like you keep saying that same stuff over and over and over again, but you're not addressing his potential availability for week 1. Tells me he's not going to be available for week 1, which has definitely had me, much more bullish on Emeka Egbuka and drafting him. I've started taking him in a lot of different spots right now. And that's because, I mean, again, I think that there is tremendous upside, to him. And the more I'm hearing about the injuries, the more I'm kind of locking it down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to deal with the cards as they come, right? Like if everyone was healthy, he'd be out, but people are banged up. This guy could run with it. I just took a player here.
What's up? Oh, I like that Jackson Dart pick.
Dude, no, that's actually not what I meant to do.
What'd you meant to do?
I could have sworn that I clicked on Daniel Jones there.
Oh,
that hurts. That hurts.
My goodness. That does hurt.
Well, let me tell you why I like Daniel Jones.
Who was just announced as the starter today.
He was just announced as a starter. And I'll tell you what, this is another one of those fallacies from the article I just recently wrote. It's called the middle ground fallacy. And what happens is when you have 2 debates, right, that are clashing, people tend to say, oh, well, the answer is actually probably somewhere in the middle ground, right? So in fantasy football, when you have some people saying they like Daniel Jones, some people saying that they like Anthony Richardson, you end up having half the people drafting one guy, half the people drafting the other, and the uncertainty pushes that value down for both those guys. And the ADPs end up somewhere in the middle of where they should be. But the reality is only one of them is going to get the job. and he's going to seriously outperform whatever that ADP ends up being. So in this case, both those guys have been battling with each other, and the ADPs got pushed down. But now that we know it's Daniel Jones and he's the mobile quarterback in a good offense, his ADP should be jumping it way ahead of guys like that we really don't like Aaron Rodgers and possibly even as high as guys like Stafford and Geno Smith and those guys, man. I mean, like, this guy's willing to run, and that's worth a lot in fantasy football. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility that he comes out and really outperforms his ADP. And ADP doesn't move upwards as fast as you think it does. Like, this news is out, and he just went off the board in the what round are we in? I can't even see it from here.
We're in the 18th right now.
18th, yeah. I meant to take him in the 17th. I can't believe that I just did that, dude. I was like trying to talk while I was drafting, and I just clicked the button there. But that could have just cost me thousands of dollars. Or if Jackson Dart's awesome, then I'm a genius. And I take full credit.
Jackson Dart is awesome. I mean, listen, it's kind of funny, I have that conversation with my wife all the time because she's a diehard Giants fan, and she's playing fantasy, and she was asking me, there was a league that we're doing. She was looking for a third QB for a super flex. And she was like, should I take, she's like, I want to take Russell Wilson. I was like, listen, I'm fine with Russell Wilson if you've got guys, quarterbacks who have an early bye week, right? Because then, Russell Wilson will be productive, whatever. But I think as the Giants fall out, and I mean, look at the Giants' schedule, people. Listen, you can be as bullish on the Giants as you want, but look at their schedule. It is a nightmare schedule. You would have thought that they were a 12-win team last year based on their strength of schedule because they have to play the AFC West along with their division being as strong as it is. So Russell Wilson as a third QB, that's great because if it's an early bye week, then he's going to play. But the further the Giants fall out of it, further into the season we go, it only makes sense for the Giants to give Jackson Dart a look and see what's what, right? You got Russell Wilson and whatever, that's great, but you have to see what Dart looks like. And, watching him shine in a preseason game against the Jets' second and third string, that's not really a good test because the Jets look terrible in that game anyway. So just something to be aware of.
I'll tell you, if the Giants had the schedule that the Patriots have, then I would be much more in on Russell Wilson. But you make such a good point with the schedule. I don't know what the Giants did to deserve the schedule they have, but it is so
it's abusive.
So this is how the season starts for the New York Giants. Washington Commanders, playoff team. Dallas Cowboys, always a tough team in division. 2 back-to-back road division games. Those are both road games. Third game, they get a home game. It's against the Kansas City Chiefs. Then they play the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, that team could easily be 0-4 right there. They get a game against the Saints on the road, fine. Then they play the Eagles. Then on Thursday night, then they have to go to Denver, and then they play the Eagles again, and then they play the 49ers. I mean, this team could be 0-8, 0-9 to start the year. Like, Russell Wilson could be benched halfway through the season. Jameis Winston could be benched after 2 more games, right? It's like their hand might be forced. I mean, Brian Daboll could be fired. He might be the first coach fired.
I don't know if they're going to can Daboll. I think he's okay. I think the scheme is all right. They need to take their downfield shots. But again, this is like, I mean, it's a project, right? You've got to. Oh, I'm on the clock right now. All right, I'm going to complete my Chiefs stack with a little risk high upside play here, and I'm going to grab myself a little Brashard Smith. Maybe he does pop as the pass catching running back. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to
take Jalen Royals here too. Go Chief.
I don't need to overinvest in the Chiefs. I'm going to take a guy who just got a 36-yard touchdown and is the best ball champ and the bane of Luther Burden's existence. Give me Olamide Zaccheaus.
Wow, look at that, dude. That is a pick. I think that might be the first time I've seen him drafted, man.
Dude, it's 20 rounds. Look how deep we're going. Look at the names that are going after him.
And what's interesting is, like, again, this is a single entry contest. So you might be one of like 5 people that take him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's an intriguing play from that standpoint. If he comes out and makes noise, then things could happen for him. Somebody just took Johnny Wilson, who actually I'm not sure if he saw you. That guy he got carted off yesterday from practice. So
Oh, and they just traded for John
just
Mechie.
for John Mechie. I mean, like, oh, there it is, the pick of the draft, Efton Chisholm.
I was gonna get him. I was gonna take him, but I didn't want to do that to you.
I would have definitely taken him if he's there. I got an article coming out. Definitely check it on Fantasy Alarm, hitting on the undrafted wide receivers and late round wide receivers. This guy, Efton Chisholm, he is making noise. He is your classic Patriots lunch pail guy. Apparently, he's been meeting with the wide receiver coach every morning at 5 a.m. That's what Elliot Wolf said. And this is a guy who not only has the hype, not only has the situation, but you have Drake May coming out after OTAs. He said it felt like he caught 50 balls. And then the last two preseason games, he comes out, he catches 6 of 6 for 50 and a touchdown. And then the most recent one catches 6 of 8 targets for 71 and a touchdown. This guy might just be Wes Welker, Julian Edelman all over again, man. So, and again, it's a team where the
Wait, so
best
you've
wide
got wait. So you've got the next James White and Trevion Henderson, and the next Wes Welker, Julian Edelman in was it? Is it Eston Chisholm?
The game's easy, dude. Yep. Chiz is on the block, dude. They even got the next Danny Woodhead and Land Larison, who landed on IR. They're just, they're going back to their old tricks. So definitely a name to know. Efton Chisholm out there, turning heads. And again, I pulled it up, Howard, for this article. Over the last 15 years, the highest scoring wide receiver in fantasy football for their whole career, even with the Patriots or any other team that was drafted by the Patriots over the last 15 years, is Braxton Berrios. The Patriots have been the single worst team at drafting wide receivers there's maybe ever been. You have to over the last 20 years, the only guy that would go ahead of Berrios on that list is Julian Edelman, who was a quarterback that they picked in the 7th round. Like, why can't this guy come out of nowhere and be a guy? You know what I mean? Why can't he come out and make a little
Why don't
something?
you click that stay button so that everybody can look at the draft board? That sexy ass draft board right there.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. This is the board. My last pick, I took Jalen Royals. Again, check out the article I have coming out. I'm sending it in today. As always, in my articles, might have got a little carried away. There's like 9 honorable mentions in there on top of the write-ups for the big guys I like. But Jalen Royals also in there, a guy that could play the Rashee Rice role for the Chiefs while Rashee Rice is suspended. So this is a guy that, again, I just took him in the 20th round, and he could have 6 to 10 games worth of action in a very important PPR role. In preseason, he's already got a couple of those signature Rashee Rice screens under his belt, so who knows? Again, Darren Waller out here. I don't need to explain to you the upside and downside of a player like that. But that's how we're finishing up here. How are you feeling about your team? I can't believe I actually took Jackson Dart, dude.
You're all tilted on that one.
Tilted, bro.
I listen, dude. I really like my team. I like my team a lot. I've got targets galore at the wide receiver position. I love my running backs in Breece Hall and Chuba Hubbard. Krosky Merritt was the fun upside pick, but then you get guys like Jalen Wright and Najee Harris who could be solid guys there. The wide receiver core is great. The quarterback room is solid, and I like my tight ends, right? A little Kelsey, a little Hunter Henry, a little Pat Freiermuth. Maybe having his locker right next to Aaron Rodgers is a good thing. So big fan of this team, especially in a single entry contest for sure. What about you?
I mean, I love. All right, let's just pretend that I took Daniel Jones instead of Jackson Dart there, right? For pretendsies. I love my quarterback room of Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, and Daniel Jones, just all risk and all reward, right? Mobile quarterbacks here. I went a little, not necessarily hero RB because I took David Montgomery, but went thin early at running back. But I filled my running back room with Ramondre Stevenson for some safety, and then Ramondre Stevenson and Justice Hill for some floor, and then Trey Benson and Woody Marks for some upside. Maybe I could have used one more running back in there, but I mean, I get 6. That's plenty. Loaded up at wide receiver. I don't know if anybody has better wide receivers than me. CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. I mean, strong. And then I've got Travis Hunter for some upside, Cooper Kupp for some safety, laid off the gas a little bit, but I threw a couple of rookies, Kyle Williams and Jalen Royals on there just for a little more sprinkle at upside. Tight end, pretty standard move by me. Dalton Kincaid, Chigakonkwo, Darren Waller. This is a position that we believe that we can use as leverage to get ourselves a lot of upside. So there you have it. That's how we're attacking these single entry contests. For the rest of the week, we're going to do a bunch of best ball drafts. On Friday, we're going to do a live one with members. So if you want to get involved in that, jump in the Discord. We're also doing slow drafts. So check the Discord on the Best Ball channel. We're going to get some final slow drafts going now. Make sure you get involved with us. As always, folks, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369-NY. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org in CT. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age verification by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. One per customer. Must enter a lineup in the NFL Best Ball $15 million contest by 9/4/23. So there you have it, folks. That's what's going on over at DraftKings. We're loving our friends over there. I can't believe Jackson Dart's on my single entry team in this contest, but I got a lot of the other players that I like. So we're going to be just fine.
All right. Well, as always, we thank everybody for joining us here on the show. And yeah, like Coop said, we'll be back all week. Next DraftKings show will be Thursday. So like Coop said, check out our Discord and make sure that you know what contest we are joining. And if you want to join in to one of these as well, let's throw that QR code up there one more time, Coop, for everybody. As far as your DraftKings work goes, you can zap the QR code right there or go to fantasyalarm.com/DraftKings and get the latest deal. You're going to use the promo code ALARM, the sign-up deals, everything that we've got going on over here with our friends over at DraftKings. But that is definitely going to do it for us here today. As always, we thank you for joining us. For Andrew Cooper, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.
Adios, turd nuggets.